Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have Dr. Susan Williams with me. Hey, Sue. Dr. Sue, how are you?
I'm very well, Kimberly. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes, and I'm very excited for our conversation because we've done some things that are similar as in NLP and hypnosis and some other things. So very excited to get into this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we do, I'm going to go ahead and read your bio so people know who you are.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Susan L. Williams, affectionately known as Dr. Sue, is a unique figure in the world of holistic healing and natural therapies, with a corporate background in the education sector and life experience as a passionate horse rider, devoted mother, and proud grandmother. Dr. Sue's life is deeply rooted in nurturing growth and well being. Her professional journey, however, is defined by relentless pursuit of alternative and integrative approaches to health. Holding a doctorate in quantum counseling, she is a specialist in clinical hypnotherapy, quantum journeys hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, life coaching, and mindfulness. Dr. Sue's approach is uniquely holistic, blending ancient wisdom with modern science. She is particularly excited about the possibilities within the quantum biology and bioenergetics, employing innovative tools like NES Health scans and infoceuticals,
Infoceuticals. Yeah.
thank you, to rebalance the body energy systems. Her practice, though grounded in human wellness, extends compassionately to animals, offering specialized services for horses, dogs, and cats. So I am very excited to hear about this journey and how you got into all this. And
Oh,
I know you're a horse rider, and of course, we all love our pets.
mm.
So how did all this start?
Crazy, really, because I've I have looked back and thought, how did I get into this? And they do say that whatever you are most interested in, what really grabs your heart when you're around 7 years old, is something that you should try and pursue as a career later on because you're going to be so invested in it. You're
Mhm.
just going to love it so much that you'll be able to do it forever. So when I was about that age, really the horses were the only thing that had my attention. That was pretty much most of the time. And as I got older into secondary school, high school, I had a lot of career counselling because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I did a maths science stream through high school because that was more interesting to me than the history and geography, that sort of thing. But I had no idea what my career would be. So even with the counselling, I still had no idea. So back in the day when I was that age, um, the careers for women were you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, or you could be a secretary. Well, nursing and teaching really didn't grab me. So I went off to business college and became a secretary and an administrator in some offices. And that's been my life. So I've been in and out of jobs like that, really good jobs, well paying jobs, but they just in the back of your mind, you think, no, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And then for the past 26 years, I have worked in the education sector in the business managing area. And just uh, out of the blue, we did some professional development training on mindfulness. And I was in the middle of these sessions and I thought, oh, this is it.
Mhm.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I went off and did the practitioner training in mindfulness after we'd finished the training. And I thought, this is amazing. And then I was introduced to the NLP, to EFT and TFT, which is the tapping, and
Mhm.
which is just an amazing modality. And then the hypnotherapy. And that was probably easy for me to get into because I had used the self hypnosis tapes, the audios. And so I was aware of how it could assist, but until I'd done all that other training, it didn't really grab me. And then I thought, oh, yes, I should train in that. And it's just been amazing. And I probably what really set me off with the hypnosis was because I am a competitive horse rider. I'm out seeing other women, and it's mainly women in the area that I do dressage now. I used to do everything else with the crazy jumping, but the ground's too hard now when you hit it, so I just stick to the dressage. But yes, the women, and I would see them probably 40s, 50s, 60s, and still riding, but they had so much anxiety about their riding, they would actually be throwing up behind their horse float, their trailer. It was just that, I mean, you're supposed to be doing this sport to enjoy it, but they're rolling up to a competition so stressed that they can't eat, they can't drink. Their horse then goes, whoa, why are you so stressed? What's going to happen? So it's that vicious cycle there. So I thought hypnotherapy has worked so well for me. I'm going to share it with these riders and help them to overcome the nerves so that they actually enjoy their sport again. So that's my story up until now.
Beautiful. So, tell me what happened when you started working with the riders.
It was amazing because, and it still happens, which I wish people would realize that as opposed to stage hypnosis with a stage hypnotist, hypnotherapy is so different. I'm not setting out to make these people do things that make them look silly, you know, cluck like a chicken, bark like a dog, that sort of thing, and put weird post-hypnotic suggestions into their minds. It's not what I do. I go in and help these people to find out why they have this anxiety. And it's amazing how often it goes back to childhood, where they've been told that they're just not good enough. Oh, you'll never be a good rider. You know, parents saying, why am I wasting my money? Because it's an expensive sport. Why am I wasting my money buying you a horse and paying for lessons? You'll never do any good. Child's mind just takes that in. And of course, when you're an adult and you have the setbacks, the subconscious mind says, oh, I remember you were told that you're never going to be any good. So you're not going to be any good, and I'm going to protect you by giving you so much anxiety that you won't want to ride. So that's what we do. We go in and find why they're feeling this way and get rid of that, replace it with nice positive suggestions. And it's incredible. People are so intuitive. Once they realize what the problem is, they are able to overcome it. And the majority of my horse riding clients, one session is all they need to overcome it and be able to go out and enjoy their sport again. So it's been an amazing journey. This is my 5th year of doing that particular practice, and it's so rewarding.
It's really,
amazing.
really amazing, actually, that, just one, and to think about all the training you do just to do that. And when it comes to the mindset, to the limiting beliefs, one session can change so much.
Yeah. Yes, I have people book in and just they think, well, one session's not going to work. So they book in for 3, which is wonderful because we get to work on so many things. But they'll do the first session on their horse riding and they'll say, oh, that worked so well. I don't need the second and third session on that. Can we work on A, B, and C instead? So, oh, yeah. Now that you know how well it works, certainly other things like problems with relationships or problems with money, health, whatever, we go on and work on those instead. So certainly not time wasted, but Yeah, it can be so effective. And what I meant to say before is people come to me as a last resort because they've had their regular coaches who
Yeah.
are fantastic for teaching them how to ride, how to be that professional rider if they want to go that far. But they've still got the nagging doubt in the back of their mind, and that mainstream coaching to teach them how to ride well,
Mhm.
it just doesn't get rid of it. So they have the coaches, they get to the stage where I'm just too scared to get on my horse. I've got this beautiful horse out in the paddock. I've spent
Mhm.
thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on all the gear to go with it. And I'm just too scared to go out and ride. So I'm the last resort.
Mhm.
Help me, because I don't want to sell my horse.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I wish they would come to me in the first instance, not as the last resort.
Right. Yeah.
Mm,
Well, word will get around eventually.
mm,
Then they probably will.
I hope so.
So, yeah, and then you do some other things too, even working with animals. So, how do you work with animals?
I do animal communication as well. That's another area that I've actually studied and developed my intuition and the connecting with the animals, which is absolutely amazing. And because of that, I went on to do training in energy work for the animals, because we're all energetic beings
Hmm.
and we all connect so easily when you open your mind and allow it to happen. Open your heart as well. So you were saying just in my bio about the NES Health and the bioenergetics. Um, I do use hands-on and hands-off energy work, but this is now in the 21st century. I actually have a device that reads the energy field of the body and all the organs, because every organ has its own energy field. So I can use that on the animals, which makes it so much easier just for the owners,
Hmm.
because we can't communicate as we do as humans.
Hmm.
So to find out which part of the animal needs support energetically by using this device and then bringing it up on the screen on the computer, they say, oh, that makes so much sense. I can see now, what we need to do, why the animal's been having the problem. So it's not just the old woo-woo of years gone by. It's actually a science now, and you can scan the body and then view all the screens on your computer. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And myself and my kids for the last over 20 years, we've done bioenergetic assessments. And it's similar where they're just taking this little probe and touching our fingers or our feet where the
Yep. Mm-hmm.
acupuncture points are, and you can
Yep.
read what allergies you have. You could read how every
Yes.
organ is. You can see if you have toxins and what they are,
Mm.
and what foods you should avoid, which foods you should eat, which supplements you should avoid, which ones you should take, and how
Yep.
much. It's
Yes,
so advanced now.
it is. And that's another field that I wish people knew more about as well. Because rather than just using that conditioned mindset where, well, there's something wrong with me, so I'll grab a pill, finding out why you've got something wrong with you and being proactive in being able to change your lifestyle to
Mhm.
overcome those things, well, why wouldn't you do it? It's so natural, it's so easy, costs you a minimum amount of money, because you're not running off to doctors and buying over the counter and prescription medicines. You go out and you get organic food,
Mhm.
or you make sure you exercise, you get the fresh air. If you've got heavy metals in you, you go and get a supplement like zeolite, and it helps your body to rid itself of the heavy metals.
Mhm.
So the technology's there. It's so easy for people to find out about it if they just have that first introduction to it.
Mhm.
So yes, spread
Exactly.
the word.
Yeah. So I'm thinking with horses, I mean, when people have a horse, it's like their partner, it's like part of their family. So
Yeah.
when you're communicating with the horses, like, is there certain um patterns of emotions or things that horses go through that is similar, or is it all different?
No, it's so similar. And as humans, we carry emotions in our body, we hold them in, which is another great thing that the hypnosis can help with, to release those emotions. But
Mhm.
the animals do the same thing. And you'll actually have physical disabilities on the animals. You'll have lumps and bumps, or you'll have problems with the spine, problem with the horses in particular, from the pole, which is that top bone between the ears, right down the neck into the spine. They will hold all sorts of emotions within those areas. And using the communication and the energy work, and now being able to scan them, it shows where these emotions are held. So then you can use this sort of energy work
Mhm.
to help them release them. And you think, well, that's, she says that works, but does
Mhm.
it really? And I was at a seminar a few weeks ago where we were working hands on and hands off, doing energy work on horses.
Mhm.
And if you've ever been to the chiropractor and they do an adjustment and the joints crack, we were doing that hands off, setting the intention of finding out what were the emotions and the other things were that were held in the horse's body. Hands off, just using well, being the channel for energy from
Mhm.
source, and crack, crack. And you could see them, oh, the animals going like this. Oh, yeah, that's such a relief. So, you can actually see these things happening with hands off work. So, so it's not quite as woo as people may believe.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just different. It's just
Mm,
different. And if you haven't been introduced to it, you're thinking, oh, it's a little strange.
it
But,
is.
the people who have actually experienced it, it's such a strong and powerful way of healing when you use the natural energy that people
Mm,
have and then that's in the environment. So I wanted to ask you, what is quantum biology and quantum physics and epigenetics? You
yes.
have all these big word things you do. What is all
I
that?
know. That's, as I said before, you go down one rabbit hole and you just don't know where you're going to come out. But yes, my doctorate is in quantum counselling, and unfortunately, the title doesn't really explain what it is. But it's based on quantum physics and epigenetics. So the idea is that I can help people change their lifestyle, and by doing that, turn on and off genes in their DNA so that they can overcome these medical conditions, things like um, uh, anything that's negative that you want to get rid of that has been passed down through the generations, like even generational poverty, generational abuse, that sort of thing. And you look back, you see it just passed down from generation to generation. This is where the epigenetics comes in. And I can help people change their life so that this generation, their generation, is the one where that stops.
Mhm.
So again, we concentrate on improving the diet, getting rid of the heavy metals, the exercise. It's really basic stuff, actually, which it's living a better life, but proving that you can actually turn on and off these genes if you've got a history of bowel cancer in the family, breast cancer, diabetes even. If you come, or type 2, particularly type 2 diabetes, type 1 is different again. And you would have to get things changed in the child quite early for type 1 diabetes. But type 2, if your family has a history of it, heart disease, all these things are because certain genes are switched on or switched off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of trial and error. We go through, and now that I have the scanner, which can pick up which foods, which environmental conditions are negative for a particular person, then we do a bit of trial and error and add things to the diet, take them out, and see how that affects us. But it's cutting edge technology again, using so many areas from different fields of science. It's quite amazing.
It sounds amazing. I'm just curious about things that we consider to be aging. Can we do something to transform those? And I'm specifically thinking of like arthritis. So I've been
Yep.
to doctors where they say, well, you know, you're a certain age. And so if you live long enough, you get arthritis. And I'm thinking, I don't want to accept that.
Exactly. And if we look back at Chinese medicine, that will tell us that emotions are stored in certain areas of the body. Like you will store anger in your liver, which can lead to liver disease if you allow it to. So the joints, again, you'll be holding, you can hold anger in your joints. People who get the arthritis in the fingers and in the feet, in those joints, the metatarsals and metacarpals, it, it can be a sign that they're holding on to something and it's causing this inflammation because it's so painful hanging on to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't new. Chinese traditional medicine will tell you all this. You only need to Google which areas of the body are affected by which emotions, and you'll get the whole list. So if we can also look at doing that, removing these trapped emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you mentioned the quantum biology, which is something that I'm looking to incorporate into my sport hypnotherapy, because that, as well as me being able to help the athletes with their mindset, they can also help themselves even more by using the quantum biology, which is all to do with the epigenetics. And you know, it's full circle, really, the study that I've done. And they, by using these techniques, can improve their own physical health, which leads to better performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, once you start joining the dots, it's just incredible.
Mm-hmm. So the things you're using with athletes, you know, I would think, you know, you would start out with like hypnosis because again, the limiting beliefs. So
Yep.
banish the limiting beliefs and install resourceful um things, ideas.
Yep.
And then, you know, of course the physiological, getting all that running the way it should. But then is there things you do that help them with the performance itself as an I don't know, becoming a better runner or running with more smoothness or
Yes.
something that gives them that slight edge where they can perform just a little bit better physically?
Absolutely, because then I can work in tandem with their sport coach. The sport coach will see areas in their technique that needs to be improved. it's great. It depends on your learning style, because people can be visual learners. So if their coach can show them a video of um, uh, someone who has the perfect technique that this person should be attempting to mimic, then
Mm-hmm.
I say, well, look at that. See how, for a runner, see how the arms move, and at the same time how the legs move. If it's better to run this way, depending on the person, how upright or how forward the body should be, so that they've got this image in their mind. Then we can use the hypnosis to say, recall exactly what you saw on that video. Now, imagine in your body, you are doing the same thing, because scientifically they have proven that thinking that thought activates the exact same areas in the brain as physically doing the movement. So in the hypnosis, we'll go through the body. Imagine how your body is feeling, how you can change your posture, your movement, to be like that perfect movement that your coach has shown you. And by doing that over and over again, you create the new neural pathways, or reinforce the ones that are there, but just improve them, so that they can go out and be the same as these, absolute brilliant athletes.
Mm-hmm.
But then also on top of that, we know that the top athletes can be extremely good in their sport because they go into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
I can train these athletes so that they know how to go into this self-hypnosis, which is what the zone is, so that they can block out where the competitors are, the people cheering in the stands, whatever it is that distracts them. And all they see is that running track, or the high jump, or whatever. The basketball, I can get them to imagine that the hoop is this big. So that ball is always going to go in the middle because it's so big. And teams, they can build a bit of a sixth sense. Where is my teammate? So that if I get the ball, say in basketball, I know exactly where that teammate is, so that I can pass it without having to look around and say, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
So it's working in tandem with the physical coaches is a great benefit for the athlete, because then I can build on what their coach is trying to get them to do.
Mm-hmm. Is there certain sports that you tend to work with more than others, or is just a random who you work with?
Well, because I started out with the equestrian, and because I'm so invested in that sport myself, I do a lot of work with equestrians. But then there's also basketball, golf, tennis, surfing. Surfing's another one, like the horse riding, because you do have a fear factor,
Mm-hmm.
which you need to overcome if you're going to really be good at it. Martial arts, because that has such a huge mental aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Oh, Australian rules football and rugby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite a wide range of sports. But it lends itself so well to pretty much anything. Playing darts, playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
Hypnosis is very helpful.
Mm-hmm. So, when you're working with people, are you setting them in a certain posture when you're working with them? Like, we're always taught in school, sit up straight, do a certain thing when you're about to do what you're going to do. So when it comes to like a sport, is there a ready, I guess that's it. Is there a ready stance?
If Well, that again, that's when you can work with their coach, because you can get the coach to set the person up. Maybe it is a runner and they're in the blocks.
Mhm.
Maybe they want them to experience exactly how it feels to be in that perfect position. And then we can use the self-hypnosis. I can guide them. This is how you feel. Again, feel throughout your body where it's supposed to be positioned. But just for your normal hypnosis, when we're doing that first session, just recline. So, just sitting back so that they're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the head to be flopping. So just leaning back a bit on some pillows or cushions. We do all the mental stuff then and the mental rehearsal, just in that very calm, quiet, relaxed position. Then if we need to move on and actually mimic the correct positions for the body for their particular sport, we can do that afterwards just to build those neural pathways again, because they can actually feel the way their body is supposed to be performing.
Now, you've mentioned this a couple times. Self-hypnosis. So, you want to talk a little bit more about that, or can
Yeah.
we self-hypnotize ourselves and, I don't know,
Oh,
put
well,
ourselves in a more peaceful state or a state to do something we want to do?
that's the thing that people don't realize, because it's a normal human condition to be in and out of trance all day. So even first thing in the morning, you go to get in the shower, you're not going to be thinking, what do I have to do to have a shower? Oh, I have to reach out and I have to pick up the soap. I have to get the shampoo and all the rest of it. You're in a trance because your subconscious mind knows exactly what you do to have a shower. That leaves the rest of your mind free to be thinking, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to get to work. I've got a meeting, blah, 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 blah. I have to go to the supermarket after work. So all this is happening while you're in trance, while your subconscious mind is getting you showered and out of it. And you think, I don't even remember having that shower, but never mind. And again, if reading a really good book, you get immersed in it, and then you look up at the clock and an hour has passed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's trance. So perfectly natural to be in trance, which is what happens when you're in hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So the self-hypnosis is a bit like meditation, but you can use it to your benefit by changing limiting beliefs, installing positive thinking, rather than just thinking, I'll use my willpower, I'll stop myself from having 10 donuts today and drinking a gallon of fizzy drink.
Mm-hmm.
Just with willpower, no. So those sorts of things, you can use the self-hypnosis to get rid of the negative, install the positive. And the mind works by repetition. So the more often you do it, the more convinced your subconscious mind is that that's what you want to do. Because the subconscious mind is very literal. What you tell it, it believes. And that's why we have these things from childhood. When you're told that you're no good, then it just sticks in there until we use hypnosis to remove that negative thought. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what you tell your mind, and especially what you tell your subconscious when you're doing either guided hypnosis by a hypnotherapist or a self-hypnosis audio, mm-hmm. It's all positive, because that's what your subconscious mind will end up believing.
Mm-hmm. So you could just listen to an audio that someone has made about a certain subject, or I guess if you had something that you wanted to work on, you could make your own audio and just listen to your own audio about what you want to put in your mind.
It can be very effective using your own voice, because the subconscious, then it's almost like just the thoughts, because it's you telling you. Mm-hmm. But it goes in so much deeper. It's a very effective way, using your own voice for that sort of thing. And even if you just get a couple of the downloadable audios, just to know what the process is, and then record your own, why not? That's certainly, the self-hypnosis is a great place to start. If you have deeper issues that you can't overcome, then you come to someone like me where we do the hypnotherapy. And then I use the therapeutic part of it to guide you through certain steps, which will help you to really go deep and get to the things that those audios can't help you with.
Wow. So if people wanted to connect with you or have a session, how do
Yeah,
they connect with you?
I have my website, which is sporthypnotherapy.com, all one word. There's no S in the middle, and it's not sports, it's just sporthypnotherapy.com. There is a booking link on there, and there's a whole lot more information that people can find out about as well. Sport Hypnotherapy on Facebook as well. I do a lot of posts on there that people can find out more about. And for the horse riders, what I've got coming up soon is an app, which is Rider's Mindset. And that has the downloadable audios, but for a whole range of different problems that are specific to equestrians, even including fear of towing your float, your trailer, because that can be a big one for especially women whose partners aren't interested in the horses. So they're not going to drive the car for them.
Mhm.
So the woman has to go out and learn all these safety techniques for towing with a live animal in the trailer behind the car. And that can be quite fearful. So that's one of the things that this app will help them with. And there'll be 5-minute, 10-minute, and 20-minute downloadable audios. So that's going to be a big bonus. And I'll look at getting that done for a wider range of sport a bit down the track.
That is wonderful. What a great resource.
Mm,
So now I
yes.
have a personal question for you.
Sure.
Gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
I think just now that I know who I am, and I know my purpose is to help people, it's so rewarding. Sort of just having bounced around for, I didn't find out about mindfulness until I was in my mid-50s. So now I've got a purpose now for the rest of my life,
Mhm.
which is a great thing. I don't want to just retire and then sit, although I am a knitter, I don't want to sit and knit all day. I want to be doing something that's going to be purposeful, helping people. And it brings so much joy. And helping the animals, wow. And showing people what you can do to help the animals. Don't think of them as just being some resource that you have to feed. That they are sentient beings and you need to treat them as such. And it's so exciting being able to reveal that to people. And the majority of people say, oh, I wish I'd known that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have treated this animal the way I have if I had realized how much what I do impacts their life. But
Yeah,
that
they're
that
very
too, that
sensitive.
brings so much joy.
Yeah. Yes. I noticed that. I mean, we have a cat, and I mean, if you're feeling sad or you have a tummy ache or something, she comes right up and she just sits right on your lap. And usually she doesn't do that, but
Mm.
like she can feel that you need her.
Oh, absolutely. And uh, it's a funny thing. Once you have developed your ability to communicate with the animals, and everyone will find it's in a different way. For
Mhm.
me, the thoughts just hit me, sort of where the third eye is. Their thoughts just go like that. But once you've developed that and you're able to create that two-way communication, you can run your own problems past the animals and they'll give you solutions because, as a horse told me not long ago, ask me anything because we don't lie.
Yeah.
They'll give you the absolute truth, whether you want to hear it or not. But it's such an amazing thing that they want to support us as well. So I hope more people open their minds to that too.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Thank
Mm.
you. And, thank you for being on the podcast today and for sharing all your wisdom. And I've learned a lot. I learned new
Oh.
words, new, new ways of being and healing.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, as I said, it just brings me so much joy to be able to share this. Just, you know, I don't know. It's just obviously it's my calling now in life, and it's just been absolutely amazing to find out what that is and now to be able to share it. And
Mm.
it's been a real pleasure being on the podcast with you, Kimberley. Thank you so much for inviting me along.
Oh, yes. And I have one last question. This is the last question I ask everyone.
Yeah.
What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
Don't listen to the people who want to put you down. If you have a goal in mind and it feels like it's your absolute purpose to do that, even if it's so different to like me going from the education sector now to doing all this, what some people would call woo woo,
Mhm.
but the science of it and that sort of thing. People just, when I said I'm going to be a hypnotherapist, they said, okay, and what, you're going to go and stand on the stage and make people bark like dogs? No, it's nothing like that.
Mhm.
So don't be put off by the naysayers. If you feel in your heart that what you want to do is right, just go for it. Don't be rude to them. Say, well, thank you for that input. Thank you for taking the time to tell me what you think I should do, but that's okay. And I'll take that on board and I'll move on. But yeah, don't be rude to people who want to hold you back because they have their own issues.
Mhm.
Perhaps later on you can come back and help them as well. But yeah, go for it. Go for that goal that you really want in your heart.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sue.
Thank you, Dr. Kimberley. No, it's been a real pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.